We're rolling.
All right, whenever you're ready, guys, you can start.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Hunter Kingwell.
I'm Patty Furlong.
Daniel Frester.
I'm Noel Daler.
I'm Gina Furtado.
And actually this summer, my parents really pushed for me to find a job. And I finally fell into the bait. And there was one day this summer where I actually spent literally like the whole day going to different businesses and companies in the Lake Zurich and Deer Park area. And I applied, and I was so eager to hear back from these businesses, but unfortunately I never did. And it wasn't until about a month later when my dad told me that there was an opening at Lumoni's Pizzeria in Palatine. And the next day I went in there, I went through the interview process, and I got the job. A few months pass, I'm going up through the rankings at the business, getting better and better at my job, and it's actually my managers who come up to me consistently every week asking, "Hey Hunter, do you have any friends that need a job, or do you know anyone that wants a job, because we are in need of employees?" And when my managers consistently kept asking me this, I realized that not only is it hard for teams like me to find jobs, but it's also a difficult process for businesses to also find good employees.
So there's people like Hunter and all of us teens that really just need a job, like mainly because of their parents or they just really wanted disposable income. And there's some teens in other communities that also like need to support their families because they're not as fortunate as others. And we also realized that businesses have this issue because walking around the community, we constantly are seeing help wanted signs. And just like Hunter said, that just their employers really need employees. After going to the Chamber of Commerce job fair, we realized that all of them need jobs, and we interviewed 30 different businesses, and they said that they would definitely want employees, and a business like us would be just like exactly what they need. And after conducting 50 interviews with teens, we received like mainly positive feedback saying that they would definitely like be interested in talking with us.
So kind of a blanket statement to cover our solution would be a job connection website platform that connects local teams with local businesses. So now kind of for a demo to walk through how our solution will work. So when you first arrive, you'll be at the home page, and you can select if you're a teenager looking for a job, or if you're a local business looking for employees. So once you've clicked that will take you to the sign up page. So here, if you're a teen, you'll just fill out basic information to create your profile, contact information, name, all that stuff to create what will be seen by the businesses. And if you're a business, you will fill out your profile as well, and you'll just fill out the information regarding your business itself, as well as the job openings that you will offer. So that's that part. Next, teens will be able to upload their resume at this step. If they don't have a resume, we'll have a template available for them to fill one out, and hopefully we'll have some tips and pointers to help them fill out the ideal resume. And then the questionnaire aspect of our solution is a very important part of our unique value proposition. It's ultimately going to be a compilation of questions that the teens can fill out that are very similar to what would be seen in a job interview. And ultimately, this is going to greatly expedite the interview process for those local businesses. They may not have tons of time on their hands to interview person after person, since they are smaller businesses that we're focusing on. So this will allow them to be able to just have the interview process already done through our website. So next, the teens will be able to come to this step and begin to search for the jobs themselves. So here they'll be able to filter through, select the type of job they want, location, hours they prefer to work, preferred wage, any specification you can think of to help limit their search and make sure that they can find exactly what they're looking for. So once they've submitted these filters, our database will compile a list of jobs based on these specifications and businesses. They'll be able to look through these job options, read through what it involves, and then ultimately they can decide if they find something that they like. They can submit the resume and their questionnaire directly to these websites. And then just some more aspects of the solution. It's going to be very efficient and easy to use for those teens that may not want to spend a ton of time for their job search, as well as the text notification aspect. They'll get a text notification every time that a new job is available for them based on those specifications that they made in the previous step. They'll also get a notification every time a job has responded or a business has responded to their submission. We decided to do text notifications because teens are definitely on their phones all the time. This is a great way to reach them compared to email. Now, in terms of our target market, more specifically, we are looking at teens 15 to 18 looking for part-time work. And our site is going to be specific to these teens because, like I said before, it's easy to use and navigate, so they'll save time and be able to find specifically part-time work. And then the other side of our market is local businesses, so specific to the Barrington community. So our site is going to be specific to this market because, like I said, we have that questionnaire aspect. We'll expedite the interview process, and ultimately we're going to try to find them the most reliable workers that we can. Now, in terms of competitors, our main competitors are Snagajob, Indeed, and HireTeam. Now, Snagajob and Indeed are very reliable and well-known job finding sites. However, they're so general and large that it almost makes them difficult to use. So when we experimented with them and we navigated them, we found that the results we got were not super specific to exactly what we wanted when we were looking. And also, they were mostly just chain businesses like Burger King, other fast food restaurants, and we didn't see nearly any local businesses there. And so that's where we differentiate ourselves, because we're working with those local businesses and we're being very specific to teenagers. And then HireTeam seems like it would be a super direct competitor, but after investigating in their site, it's very underdeveloped, not very organized, it was difficult to navigate, and when we got results, again, it was just chain businesses. Like the first thing I saw was Dollar Tree, and it didn't even really have any description in terms of the job itself. It was almost just like a link to the business itself, so we are definitely going to be very efficient and easy to use compared to that site.
Okay, so now moving on to the most effective marketing tactics. Since we have two customer segments, it's very important we market to both of them. For the teens, we were thinking of kind of like an easy way that's very accessible. So online promotions that are accessible through phone or computer, so we can gather information and kind of promote our site. And then we were thinking about around our school, we can make flyers that have QR codes that are easily accessible through like Snapchat and other social media sites. And then we're also hoping to set up booths, which is very common in our school, to set up a booth and kind of show your business like during lunch or before school. Then we're planning on to create interest, maybe like giving out candy, setting up raffles, kind of engaging the students in what our solution is and all the benefits we have. And then for the businesses, we've been going to a lot of the local sites like Living 60010. We've been working with Ms. Chrissy Mena, who owns this site, and she's been helping us connect with the local businesses, especially because they use this page a lot. And then we've been working with the Brampton Area Chamber of Commerce, going to their job fairs, all that stuff, and marketing to the local businesses that are directly there. And then going on to the financial aspects, we're thinking about ways to make revenue, and this has been a longer process, kind of going off our competitors, but really unit is defined by kind of like a placement, and the reason we're making it a placement is because, or a job filling, is because during the problem interview stages, businesses express the problem that they would use these local, the general sites like Indeed and Monster and all those competitors, but they don't really work for them. They don't they don't get a lot of job openings that are filled there and employees. So we wanted to make it per placement, kind of for assurance that we'll actually get them job placements. And then per job placement, we wanted to charge $9.95 based off of what our surveys on, us surveying the local jobs on what they would pay. And then we've been doing a lot of market research too in the local community, and just in the Barrington area alone, through a lot of our competitors, we found that in our using our zip code, we could find the amount of part-time job openings for the entry level, which we found there's approximately 7,126 job openings in the local area, ranging from dog walker to store clerk, and at that rate, it would put our market share at $70,904, and based off of all the businesses we're meeting with and the amount of job openings, in our first year we plan to sell 115 job openings and place employees for the local businesses, putting our first year market share at $1,045, and that's really good compared, knowing that we are a website platform, so our COGS are really low, 30 cents approximately, because of the credit card processing. And then SG&A is also pretty cheap because we'll do transactions through credit cards, so we're gonna need around $20 to estimate that we're doing the credit cards right and safely. Moving on to the riskiest parts of our business, the product risk are definitely some of the things that we'll be testing our MVP. For teens, for example, let's say an unmotivated teen uses our site, goes through our vetting process, and kind of shows that he's not doesn't have a good work ethic. It's going to be hard to find him a job, and we probably won't get him a job quickly. So that'll create kind of some annoyance for those teen users that don't have a good work ethic. And then another product risk we have for the businesses is if our vetting works, if the solution will work and we can get them a bunch of teen employees to work for them. Then we've been working with professionals to create questionnaires for these teens to use to kind of go through their preferences on how kind of this vetting will work, and some for employers to see what they're looking for in employees. And then how our MVP is going to actually work is we're going to go and introduce our idea to the local businesses, and actually give them job placements and fill their job placements, and then go to our school and use our vetting tactics and techniques to get teens jobs at our school using putting them through our site and our solution. We'll be manually doing this for them to simulate what our website will do. And then the things we'll be testing are the number of total job seekers we get at our school, the number of employers we contact, then the number of job seekers that we say trust the process, kind of like go through all the vetting things and work to get a job, and then the number of job openings we've been given to fill, and then finally the number of placements filled. Now once we actually fill these job placements and we can actually make some money off of this, we'll then come back and ask for some feedback from the job seekers and employers, like how did this process work, would you use this again, things like that, to make sure that we're doing the right steps, and then we'll go from there. Going on to how much this will cost to test and market, we've been going around thinking of how much the flyers will cost, and we found some cheap packages at Staples for the scannable paper for $35, gift cards and candy for our supplies to create some like gifts and attention to our campaigning at our school, and then gas money to travel adds up to $113 only to do all that and meet with the businesses.
Now let our generation define jobs, and by helping our community, by helping local businesses find each one job.
Thank you.
Bear down! All right, you guys only got like 7 minutes, so long. So, Ward, go ahead.
All right. Well, this is really a good business, an interesting one, and you guys did a nice job. I think the biggest differentiation point that I've heard is that this is a kind of a really local solution.
Yeah.
So, local employers, local teams, and it's not necessarily small or medium or big companies. It's just the key is it's local, and teams aren't going to show up in LinkedIn, or aren't going to show up in Indeed, or aren't going to show up in Snag a Job in your zip code. So really love the idea. And is the name Colt because of Barrington?
Yeah, it's like younger.
Okay, so when you think about growing this business, are you thinking of that branding always being kind of the employment, the mascot followed by employment in every little high school? Okay, that's key.
Yeah.
So you have these hyper-local job sites. Okay, I get it. Your pricing is really way off. Okay, so there's two ways to price this, and one is what you're doing, which is transactional pricing. Like you have to have a free sale, like $9.95, and you only get paid when there's a placement. When you have a website, it's really hard to validate who's getting a job and who's not.
Yeah.
People will find your people, they won't report it, you'll have the honor system, it's like a mess, okay? And trust me, I've been in this space for a long time.
Yeah.
It doesn't work. Transactional pricing and job services. So what you do instead of that is you sign up for a subscription. And you say to an employer, well, about how many hires a year do you make? And you can have like, oh, I do 0 to 5, and I do 5 to 10, and I do 20 or more, and you can have a package. Oh, okay, well that service costs $29.95 a month. That service costs $70 a month, or this service costs $100 a month, depending on how many hires you typically make. And you can kind of take their word for that, or you can like use some logic, like really it's an ice cream store, you make like 1 hire a year for teens. I'm here, you know, teens turn over every day, so I would go into subscription,
Yeah.
into subscription pricing.
And we were planning on that, planning on doing subscription, like, once we get our website going, but once we're testing our MVP, we're gonna do, since we're doing it manually, not through a website, we were planning on doing it per placement, because that's kind of like what we're testing.
Well, then you're not testing that, you're not testing what you ultimately are going to be,
Yeah,
so.
that's not a valid test, if that isn't what you're gonna build.
Well, yeah, well, we don't have like a website to like kind of do the,
You don't need a website to do subscriptions.
so yeah,
You can still be like a headhunter that you're doing
Yeah.
this work with and do it manually.
and then say that we'll give them like
Yeah,
qualified workers.
where you might be able to, where you might have a problem is selling an annual subscription for something that you're only in a beta test for.
Exactly,
So you can say, well, our subscription is 1 month. Or I have a 2-month subscription, so you're not gonna be able to test somebody signing up for a multi-year relationship with a
Yeah.
startup. I get that, but you can still test, pay us $29.95 and hire as many people as you want. Or, now they're not, if you know that they're an employer that has 10 employees and they're only gonna probably hire 2, and they're gonna buy the low version, medium, or high version. The other thing I would try to figure out into your vetting process, which I really like, and I like you guys vetting them, and I like the questionnaire, and I like the interviews, and I like, as an employer, being able to read through and make a decision. I want a visual. I want a video, or I want a photo. That's what LinkedIn has done with the photo.
Excellent idea, excellent.
And that's, like,
That says, yeah.
it makes your candidate pop out. And like, I'm
So
an
easy
investor
to
on
do
a
nowadays.
video interviewing company. There's a bunch of video interviewing companies. You can even have kids download a little, like, hey, I just want to introduce myself to you on my camera, and here's my little, like, little Snapchat,
Elevator pitch.
it's like,
Snapchat
here's,
is right.
but that Snapchat disappears, but you know what I mean? You can just download some type of visual,
Yeah,
or some way for me to say, God, that kid seems cool. I want to hire him or her.
I totally agree with Michael. 2 things that also jumped out. If you're only focusing on 13 to 15-year-olds, you're limiting the job placement because the company may not have a need for that many that young. So you might want to expand your market more.
We're doing
From-
15 to 18 year
Oh,
olds.
I'm sorry, that was I heard that wrong. But still, it's like, maybe even a little older, it doesn't have to be just that. That'll make it more appealing to the businesses trying to hire, because there are some kids that, that won't be around.
Yeah.
That's one, and then 2 is, the hyper-local sort of concept is also Living 610 does. And they already have a platform built, and they also own a web development company. So you might want to talk and think about a partnership with them
yeah,
where, okay, sorry,
I can't
you're
say
already.
Where what?
I'm recused. but
Okay.
You might want to
But-
mention
but-
something about that.
But they, because they might be, they have all the relationships, they have the platform, because the type of investment in technology to do this is gonna be significant when you get to that, to build search and security parameters and all that. You might wanna partner, but what they don't have that you bring is the content.
Guys, you can go through the bell, okay, the rest of you, when the bell rings.
That's all I would say.
The other thing you have to do, just really, really appreciate this. Recruiting is constant in this world. Building your user base of students is not like, oh, I got 10 students on there. There are 3,000 students in Marion. This is like, I have 2,000 students registered and vetted and
Every year.
yeah, and it's constant. And so that's the value to the employer is there's critical mass over on this side. That's why Monster and Career Builder own the space and LinkedIn, because they have critical mass and Snag-a-Job and Indeed. If you are a little micro site, you better have like 80% of the students in your system. So don't underestimate how important that is, and don't accept anybody. Like, you gotta build your profile, and how you might do that is have the candidate own building their profile and making it richer, and because they're putting energy into it, and therefore they must be interested. They're like betting themselves out. What were you guys asking for? $113? Yeah, I mean it's no brainer. What we would look for in the VP is if you have, it'd be nice to go see you get 10 companies that paid you a month or two subscription model, size it up by small, medium, large, get them to sign up, get them to prepay you with a credit card, and before you do that, for the 30 days before you do that, go get 100 kids profiled on this. You gotta get the kids before you get the employers. Because you're gonna really make the employers mad when they put a job order and you don't have any considered.
Like your own subscription too. We'll probably make more money on the subscription.
There you go.
And then what you can do, when the MVP runs out, another metric you can say is, your subscription is up, how many you want to renew?
Don't tie your revenue to the quality of the candidates.
Yeah.
Don't go there.
God.
Yeah.
Dude.
Good job. Good luck.
Thank you.
And I love the name too.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I would add, like, if somebody gets vetted, you're Colt certified, or something. Not certifiable.
Yeah.
The horseshoe.
Yeah. You get it.
What's the, you got a number?
113.
113, done.
Done.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I'll give you guys a pass, okay?
I'll need to take a lot more to follow up on. Thank you, Mr. Miles.
Yeah, good job, Hunter. How you want that?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Have a good one, Monty. Here, see you next week. Yes, sir. What's the news, Hog? We're gonna have school tomorrow?
You guys are, like, I don't make decisions.